I'm Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different, and every breakup is different. Work with me, and you'll get professional help on your situation. Just click on the link in the description below, or go to my website, askcraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Kenneth, and in this video, I'm going to be talking to you about will they come back? Well, one of the most scariest aspects of a breakup is wondering constantly if your ex is ever going to come back into your life. And it is incredibly difficult to know, because at the time of the breakup and the things that your ex tells you, it seems like it's going to be hopeless. In most cases, it seems like there's no way this person is ever going to come back to you. And in a lot of cases, if you've been pressuring them and putting a lot of pressure on them to get answers, maybe before you came across my videos, you were probably putting them in a position where they finally said to you, you know what, I'm done. No, we're never going to get back together again. Don't ever contact me again. If you contact me, I'm going to call the police. I mean, sometimes it goes that far. But believe me when I say things can turn around. It depends upon how you handle yourself and how you act in a breakup. It's incredibly important to understand that your behavior has a huge impact on their level of attraction and their desire to come back. So the sooner that you straighten your behavior out, the more likely it is going to be that they do come back. I had 2 emails today, and the first one is just a nice little email that I got from a woman who's been watching my channel. And she said, "Hey Craig, my name is Vanessa and I'm 24 years old. I just wanted to say I have been very worried about you. I know you live in Central Florida and you haven't posted videos since the hurricane. You have been such an incredible inspiration for me and my sister. We sometimes jokingly argue which one of us you would rather date. But I know it's me. I'm prettier. LOL. I really hope you're okay, because your channel is changing the world one day at a time. Nobody puts out incredibly insightful videos like you do. My sister and I have started to show our friends your work, and it's already helping our dating lives and our relationships. Please let us know that you are okay. We miss you." Well, I got quite a few emails from you guys wondering where I was, worried about me. Obviously, many of you do know that I do live in Central Florida, and we were hit by that hurricane. And it was pretty bad for a couple of days. We had no power, and that is why I haven't been able to upload any videos. We finally got some power yesterday, but I was just too exhausted and trying too hard to catch up with my email coachings, which, if you didn't notice, they were sold out for a few days, and depending upon how it goes, they might be sold out for a little bit. So go to the website. If you've been considering an email coaching, hop on that quickly, because to be honest with you, I'm pretty far behind because of not having any power, and I don't like to get too far behind before I just put it sold out until I can get caught up. So some of you guys that have been really, stressed out about it and really contemplating it, do it sooner than later, because chances are I'm going to be sold out. But keep checking the website. I'm going to do my best to keep up with the demand. Believe me. So if you are waiting on an email response, I am getting to it. I promise. It's just that we have been without power. It has been incredibly hot. And believe me, it has been miserable, because when you don't have any power and you're just in the Central Florida heat, it's awful. I mean, we can't go anywhere because everything's closed. A couple of places we're getting power here and there. And I wound up staying at my family's house, and they got power before I did. But I couldn't film and I couldn't do anything because there was no power here to do so. But thank you so much for the incredibly kind words. I am okay. All of my friends and family are okay. There's minor damage in the area, but the biggest factor has been losing power and not having that for several days. So I got a second email here from a guy in his mid-20s. And he's been dating a woman in her early 20s for like 2 years. Now, they've known each other for like 8 years, so a really long time. And of this, they have lived together for 2 years. So it sounds like pretty much most of the time that they dated, they were living together. So he was telling me a little bit about her life, and he said that her father owns a company in another country and has been with 3 women, including her mother, and this guy, her father, has kids with all 3 women. The mother is from this other country and moved to America after a divorce from her father, and she told him that the father mistreated her. Both the mother and father to this day do not get along, and the father kind of babies his ex-girlfriend, which is interesting because he's not very good to his wives, at least not what it sounds like. Just recently left the second wife and got a 3rd woman pregnant. Okay, he's talking about her father doing this. So you can imagine, if you have a dad that's mistreating women, going from woman to woman, having kids with all these different women, she probably doesn't feel too good about marriage and trust relationships because she's seeing her own parents unable to have a healthy relationship and her own father not staying committed and just fathering children by all these different women. So, as far as the breakup, she told me she couldn't trust me anymore. She was acting really tough, but that's not like her. She was calm and was talking about the future with me the day before she left. I see this all the time where one day a girl is head over heels for you and the next day she breaks up with you out of nowhere. As a matter of fact, I got off the Skype a little while ago with somebody who was dating this girl, and she was telling him she wants to move in with him, and literally 3 days go by, he doesn't hear from her, and then that day, the 3rd day, she said, I just want to let you know I'm working it out with my ex, who she had found out was cheating on her. So there was a lot of drama there, and we had a really good Skype today. But I do see this a lot where one day somebody can tell you they love you, they want to be with you, and then all of a sudden, bam, their interest level's gone, and you don't know why. Well, I have to look at the situation when those things come up to figure out, like, the details, because those things can be a little complicated. So, he said that she took a lot of her things, but left some things behind, and told me I can throw them away if I want. Okay? Well, sometimes an ex will leave things behind because they want an excuse to come back, but in this case, she's saying, well, you could throw them away, so maybe they just weren't important to her. Initially, I panicked and looked all over for her. Even went to her job. Eesh, not good. Don't do that, guys. After that, I'm fine now after watching your videos and talking to friends. Well, when we're getting that terrible amount of separation anxiety during a breakup, it can cause us to lose complete emotional self-control. Our thinking goes out the window, and we just become absolutely obsessed on reconnecting with that other person, because unconsciously we're feeling like if we're not connected with them or we're disconnected from them, we're gonna die. So it's almost like a feeling of life or death. I've got to go find out where they're at. I've got to go see them. I've got to go talk to them. But you cannot do those things because it will make the situation worse. I promise you. I see this all the time. She didn't trust me anymore after the camera incident, and I'll get to that in a little bit. I would sometimes not convey my feelings if I'm hurt or bothered by something. Okay. And now he's going to kind of give a narrative of what happened here. Hello, Coach Craig. My ex of 2 years recently left me, and I'm really confused about the breakup. I've known her for about 8 years, and this is our 3rd breakup. I really don't count the first 2 because we were really young, but I included them anyway. I broke up with her the first 2 times because I felt like she was very selfish in the relationship. That makes me think that she probably has a lot of anxiety, and as I teach you guys all the time, anxiety causes us to be selfish and self-absorbed and not consider what other people need. We lose empathy for what they want, and it becomes more of a transactional relationship. I want this from you, and I don't care what I have to do to get it from you. So that's probably what she was doing, and he got tired of it. It was long distance, and she would get mad at me for some small things. For example, she would get upset if I didn't text her back knowing I was at work. Well, see, that's exactly what I'm talking about. She felt disconnected from you. She didn't care that you're at work. She didn't care that you were doing a job. All she cared about is that she was scared and she wanted to reconnect with you. She would also lie about things such as saying her aunt was a maid, which was later confirmed by her stepsisters. She wasn't a maid, but their aunt who would clean their house. That's just weird. I would feel she would be doing this for attention. I don't even know what to make of that. That's just bizarre. She's saying that the aunt is a maid, but if the aunt is coming over to clean the house, if they're paying her, it's kind of like a maid, but why wouldn't she just say, yeah, that's my aunt, she helps clean up around here, we pay her. I mean, that is just really unusual. We were in our teens, so I would usually brush it off thinking that's how girls are. No, that's not how healthy girls are. That's how girls that have had trauma are. After a while, I broke it off with her because I couldn't take the lies and anger from her anymore, and I found out she lied about her age. Wow, so this girl doesn't have a lot of integrity. She's lying about her age, she's lying about her aunt, she's very angry, and I'm telling you, this is anxiety. This is the symptoms we're seeing from anxiety. She comes from a family where her parents divorced when she was 11, and her mother gained custody. Her father moved her to another country, or from another country to America, and they lived in California. She explained the mother didn't treat her right because she looked like her father. That's why you don't treat your kid right, because they look like the father? No, I'm not buying it. Eventually contacted her father, and her father moved her from one part of the country to another without her mother's permission. Which this doesn't add up to me, because you can't just move a kid unless you have custody of them. That's just bizarre. I'm not sure how this happened, but after she did what she did to me, it's starting to become clear how she got out. The second time we got back together, she reached out to me when we were in college. I was there for her through tough times and would even pick her up early in the morning when she called distraught about something. Okay, so there we see more drama. If he's picking her up in the middle of the night, I don't know if she's been drinking or having panic attacks, but I sense a lot of anxiety and trauma here. With me growing up in a household of divorced mom and sisters, I took pity on females and didn't take their emotions too seriously. You need to take a woman's feelings very seriously, because women operate internally based on how they're feeling in a moment, and if you're not really taking them seriously like that, they're going to feel disconnected from you. They're going to feel like they're not important to you, they don't matter to you, and if they start feeling like that, they're going to get angry and hurt, and eventually they're going to break up with you. I just figured that's how they were, and I would look after her. That's not the right mindset to have with a woman. The problem was the women in my family were strong, and I would sometimes feel taken aback by my ex's attitudes towards life. After breaking up with her the second time, I dated a girl who was great for about 2 years, but we had to end the relationship because she had to go back and stay with her home country. My ex came back about 6 months later and wanted to move from one part of the country to another to live with me after finding out I had an apartment. When she got here, we would sometimes argue over things she knew I couldn't control. For example, once yelled at me because I didn't have any money to take her out for the 4th of July. Well, that's interesting. I mean, couldn't you take her to see fireworks for free? That's an odd example. If you had said I couldn't afford to take her to dinner or something, that might have made a little more sense, but 4th of July is pretty much free around the country, isn't it? She even threatened to leave and go back home one day because I came home late from work and she was tired of staying in the apartment alone. Okay, well, I could see why her feeling lonely and probably feeling disconnected would make her feel like she doesn't really have anybody around for her. When I obliged her, she freaked out and decided to stay. Oh, so you were saying, okay, you can leave, and then she's like, no, I'll stay. When I finally was hired at a nice job to make more money, I took her on a joyride that you would see in a movie. We went all around the country to Broadway plays, on cruises, and different vacations and fancy restaurants, and got a nice apartment. I would push her towards her goals, teach her how to drive, teach her finances, get her citizenship, and support all her dreams. We would still have some arguments here and there, and she would instantly realize that she started it. Maybe when she was responsible, but I'm sure you did a lot of things that made her feel disconnected from you too, so you got to take responsibility for that too. I would always tell her, no, we started it and we'll fix it. Well, that's good. You did take responsibility there. I jumped the gun. One sentence too soon. Okay, fast forward. I got a better job making 6 figures, but it required me to leave the state to train for it. My mother looked after her while I was gone because she doesn't have a license or a car. When I came home, I noticed she was getting gifts, and she told me they were from her sister. Okay, that's odd. She would call this girl and say it was her sister, but she had an Australian accent. Not good. She one day left her tablet unlocked and I saw the message. I hope you guys are strapped in now because we're in for a bumpy ride. She was in a romantic relationship with her. Okay. Case you've lost track of the situation, we're dealing with a guy in his mid-20s dating a girl in her early 20s, saying that she's seeing that this girl is his girlfriend, is getting gifts from another woman who's his sister, and now all of a sudden he finds out this girl, his girl, is in a romantic relationship with another woman. Are you guys shaking your head too? I approached her about it and told her she can have me or her. She told me this was my fault because she felt her emotional needs were not being met, but she chose me because she can't imagine life without me, and I took her back. Okay, well, my guess is that this was probably not handled well, not discussed well, and everything wasn't kosher to move along forward before you took her back. Okay. She would still act suspicious and hide things from me. Well, that tells me she didn't really cut it off with this other girl, and she got back with you, but she's also stringing this other girl along till she knows what she wants. My anxiety got the best of me, and I installed a camera. This is a new one. I can't say I've heard this one before. No, I've heard of installing a camera by a family member before, but not you, a guy installing a camera. Wow, incredible invasion of privacy, but more importantly, if you don't trust somebody, you can't do a romantic relationship with them, right? It's not going to last. It's going to fall apart real quick if you can't trust somebody to the point where you're installing a camera. I mean, I don't know where it was or what you did. You didn't give any details, but this is pretty crazy. She found it, but the day she found it, she was talking about our future together. Yeah, probably before she saw the camera. Even talking about it when she got back from college, she wants to move in a house with me and get married. The next day when I came home from work, I found a goodbye note saying she can't trust me after the camera and she was leaving. And I'm willing to bet the other girl was the one who really pushed her to leave you. I can only imagine what those phone messages were saying. Leave him for me. I would never do that to you. I would treat you better than this. You gotta get out. I begged and pleaded that she talk to me face to face. She was cold when we did, and she told me her mind was made up. Yep, at that point it definitely was made up, and she's probably, now this other girl is like, come to me, I'm so much better. And she's like, yeah, you would never do that to me. I'm not sure where she's living, because her oath is around the middle of September. I'm not sure what an oath means. Maybe that's where she's got to move. We don't have that term here in America. What do you make of this, Coach? Well, there's a lot going on here. She sounds like she's got a lot of trauma in her life and a lot of anxiety. And I'm willing to bet she's the kind of girl that always keeps a backup plan, or is always looking for a backup plan for somebody that makes her feel a little bit better. And this other girl came along and started to make her feel a little bit better. She caught you hiding a camera in the house, I guess, and I don't even know what to think of that situation. If I had the details, I'd love to have heard it. Will her bi relationship work? Not likely. She's got a lot of drama. If she's never dated another woman before, she would not know all of the things that would come along with that. I mean, the social pressures, she wouldn't know how to navigate it, and ultimately she might not really feel comfortable dating somebody of the same sex if she hadn't really thought about it before. Maybe it was just an impulsive decision. My guess is she's probably very impulsive due to her anxiety, so she probably got lured in by this other girl and said, I'm going to go for it. Did I do something wrong? Did you do something wrong? Of course you did something wrong. You hid a camera to spy on her. I mean, that's pretty obvious. I know the camera was wrong, but I'm so confused right now that she gave me up for this fantasy world with that girl. I'm currently in no contact since that last meeting. Well, okay. You need to let her go live this fantasy world. Believe me, it's probably going to fall apart. Based on everything you told me about this girl, I think it'll fall apart sooner than later. And it's going to depend greatly on how you act when she does come back around. You got this whole issue of the camera situation going on. I really don't know what's going on there. If you had signed up for a Skype, that would have been something we could have talked about in detail, because that kind of has a big, impact on what you were doing. Did you put it in the bathroom? Were you spying her on the... I don't know what you were doing. Were you spying on the bedroom? Did you see anything with the camera? Obviously, you must have thought that she was going to bring this girl over there. But the other thing is, if you really don't trust this girl, how are you going to be in a relationship with her? I mean, you really went to the lengths of putting surveillance equipment in her house because you didn't trust her that much. So that makes me really wonder what is going on in this relationship that you've created that dynamic. Will she come back again? I think that it'll probably fall apart with this new girl. I mean, she just jumped right into that, and as far as I know, she's never dated another girl before. So there's going to be a lot to that she may not be ready for, including any kind of social pressure that comes with her family. I mean, maybe her family will be like, wait, you're dating a woman? You can't do that, blah, blah. Who knows? I don't know what kind of pressure she might face in that situation. My guess is this was probably impulsive, and that, you guys have known each other for 8 years and dated for 2. So she'll probably come back around when it falls apart with this other girl. But how you handle yourself is going to make a huge impact on where this relationship goes and whether or not you can build trust again. You're going to have to work on learning how to be a better partner and stop dismissing women's feelings because they're feeling like you're dismissing them too. So If you want to get my help personally, go to my website, askcraig.net, sign up for the coaching option that works best for you. I do email coaching and I do Skype coaching, and if you have to get with me right away, I do offer emergency emergency Skype coaching, not emergency email. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and I will talk with you soon.